Sup, y'all? Winnie here, and welcome back to the SP Foundation Wiki. In today's episode, we're going to be checking out Murder Diary, which I assume is exactly what it sounds like, a diary about murders. It says it's safe. SCP-1484 is to be kept in Locker 58C at Storage Site 28. Level 2 staff and above may access it for approved research at the discretion of the Deputy Director of Research. All experimentation must be recorded in Research Log 1484. Looks like we do have that research log. Description: SCP-1484 is a leather-bound journal measuring 30.2 centimeters in length, 23.1 centimeters in width, and 4.7 centimeters thick. It contains 326 blank pages. Is this just a death note? However, pages 125 through 142 feature a series of roughly 5 centimeter squared areas of panels, approximately 20 per page, which when in contact with human skin cause the reader to experience a range of different tactile sensations throughout their body. Each individual panel corresponds to a different, usually complex set of tactile stimuli. The sensation persists for approximately 10 seconds after the subject touches 1484. Research has determined that the paper contains no known chemical adulterations or other unusual properties, and is identical in every way to commercially available paper from the same time period estimated to be that of 1484's manufacture. However, how 1484 is able to manifest the generation of tactile sensations in subjects is currently unknown. It was recovered from the state of Mr. Somebody at some point in the 1900s as a part of Protocol Something A5, relating to the securing of personal effects of certain individuals identified by the Federal Bureau of Investigation's VICAP program as persons of interest in unexplained disappearances. According to public records, Mr. Somebody died of natural causes. Research Log 4. A catalog of notable effects. Page 125. Panel 13. Subject experiences feeling as though present in an environment of approximately 22 to 24 degrees Celsius, regardless of temperature in test chamber. Subject will also experience the sensation of light breezes, estimated at 3 to 5 kilometers per hour from a direction always to the subject's left. So this was definitely written by somebody in Europe. Page 125, panel 18, induces a rhythmic swaying sensation described by one disposable dude as feeling like a playground swing. 127, panel 3, causes a sense of tightness in the quadriceps muscles and mild shortness of breath consistent with light exercise. 128, panel 5, mild displacement felt in the stomach region such as that associated with rapid downward movement along an incline. Page 130, panel 11, sensation of a hand firmly grasping the subject's right bicep. Note that test subjects have described the hand as being particularly large and encompassing most of the upper arm in its grip, regardless of subject's physical dimensions. 132, panel 8. Subject experiences severe cramps in the quadriceps and calf muscles and produced shortness of breath. Subject also experiences acute pain associated with the larynx and vocal cords. 132, panel 20. Pressing sensation on subject's back, buttocks, and legs, while the neck and head crane to the left. Subjects report no sensation of breathing, though no feelings of asphyxia or associated pain in the chest or lungs. Panel 133, page 133, panel 17. Two hands grasp the subject violently by both arms. 133, panel 19. A hand grasps the subject by the throat while a piece of indeterminate fabric is placed forcefully against the subject's mouth and nose. 59% of test subjects have lost consciousness by touching this panel, while the remainder report extreme fatigue or sleepiness. 137, panel 1. The subject experiences the sensation of their wrists and ankles being fastened together, along with a sense of locomotion corresponding to travel at no less than 50 kilometers per hour. 139, panel 9. Subject experiences feeling of being secured to whatever chair they are sitting in at the time. In previous observations, subjects have been documented to stand up, yet continue reporting the feeling of immobility. Data expunged. 142, panel 3. Subject continues to experience high levels of pain related to extensive physical trauma, seemingly incurred in pages 140 to 141. Subject becomes effectively blind for the duration of panel 3's effects. 142, panel 8. Subject immediately experiences a sensation of considerable blunt force trauma to the left temple. 142, panel 20. Complete lack of perception of outside environment strikes subject for duration of panel 20's effects. Subject later described only a feeling of numbness. Research log 12. On presumably November the 12th of 2000-something, researcher somebody noted anomalous phenomena associated with pages 321 to 326 of 1484. All tests conducted on these pages prior to this date demonstrated no notable properties. 321 to 326 exhibit similar traits to 125 to 142, and that contact with the pages produces tactile sensations independent of the subject's current environment. However, rather than a series of panels on each page provoking different sensations, each page contains only a single effect. These effects are of a much lower intensity than those manifested in pages 125 to 142, and consist of merely slight changes in perception of temperature or mild sensations of movement. The exception is page 326, which provokes a clear sensation of moist earth all around the subject's body, coupled with the feeling of suffocation during the entirety of its 5-second period of effect. All subsequent tests have not revealed any changes to page 321 to 326, or any other portion of the book since the above date. Addendum 1. Risk and Strategic Value Assessment 1484-1 performed by senior researcher somebody following Incident 3. In accordance with report recommendations, experiments involving 140 and 141 are suspended indefinitely, given the relatively low value of knowledge thus far obtained versus documented psychological trauma and resulting episodes of violence by test subjects against staff. Senior researchers note, we've already determined what happens and turned over the data to Site 23's investigations unit. There's absolutely no reason to keep expending resources doing what amounts to rewatching a particularly disturbing snuff film. Addendum 2. Following examination of the Something County archives and local law enforcement records, no known criminal act within 100 kilometers of somebody's documented place of residence corresponds with the events depicted in 1484. This includes the abduction and subsequent homicide of Ms. Someone, the case which first brought Mr. Blank to the attention of federal authorities. Researchers hypothesis that 1484 is somehow a record of a past event, therefore remains unproven. Investigations into past residences and activities of Mr. Someone, as well as the nature and extent of his connections to SCP-1484, are ongoing. So the dude didn't die or anything, he just disappeared and then they found his book that makes people feel like they're in the process of being kidnapped and horribly murdered. Or in the case of pages 321 to 326, buried alive. Because that's what that was. That was someone being buried alive. And there's no telling what happened on page 140 and 141. Because it's like, oh, well, it's just like watching a particularly disturbing snuff film. But then it talks about how the people are still alive on page 142 for a little bit. So, in any case, that's going to do it for this particularly disturbing entry in the SCP Wiki. If you liked it, subscribe and like it. If you didn't, don't. If you want notifications, click the bell and they're supposed to do that for you. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Later.